All right. Welcome back. Hello, and welcome back to another episode of Today's Weather Tonight, everybody. Here, as always, I am your meteorologist. That's comedian / meteorologist, Cloud Hudson. And I will be bringing you all of tonight's top weather stories tonight. Today's weather tonight. Because it's the weather that happened today, but I'm telling it to you tonight. Okay, that is the way that I'm the only meteorologist that's always right. I just tell you what already happened. That's it. Think of it like Sports Center, but for the weather. You know, it doesn't sound too exciting right now, but I promise you, as climate change heats up, every day the weather happens. Things are going to get more and more exciting in the weather world. I promise you that. All right. Let's go ahead and start off by talking about, let's see if there was any news in the volcano world today. What is going on in the air? I am currently holding a rock that is, it's a carnelian. This is my favorite carnelian piece ever. It looks like an egg or a womb or a tumor or an eyeball. It is just so freaking pretty, but like also fleshy. It looks like it really looks like veins and shit. It's so cool. This is the carnelian that inspired me to quit my job like 6 years ago. I mean, I've had many jobs and left them since, but that one job I had, I held this rock and I knew I gotta go. Probably because I had to get on the road to become your meteorologist. Let's see. Let's go ahead and put the volcanoes on screen. Hello. Welcome back, Kaylee. My number one fan. I'm so glad you're here. Much love. I am so happy to see you here. You just sent me something on Instagram and I haven't watched it yet because I don't look at my phone a lot. We can hear Earthquake 3D very clearly in the background there. We got some earthquakes popping off, obviously. Let's see what happened in the volcano world today. Whoa, what is this? Minor explosive eruption from Etna's Voragine crater. Can't really tell what's going on there. It looks like a photo of some cryptid, but I bet it's just getting the white balance is being washed out by some streetlights right here, and that's probably the volcano exploding. Etna, Sicily. Activity from the Voragine crater vent persists. Highly likely ongoing spattering from the crater. Moreover, the recent Sentinel-2 satellite imagery acquisition from the volcano from the 20th of June captured the strong thermal anomaly in the central crater complex, and even in the Boca Nuova crater. Don't have any other imagery for that, but a funny other headline from Sicily today is that they have recently told tourists to cancel their trips and consider not coming to Sicily because they are under such a extreme drought. So I bet that drought and heat combined with some weak eruptive activity from Mount Etna is really spicing things up. That's a spicy meatball over in Sicily right now. What else we got? Kamchatka continues to explode. Let's look at this imagery. You know, those certainly are clouds. Those are clouds. Continuously observed in satellite imagery. So I guess all of this is the explosion. That is really cool to see. I bet the cirrus clouds, those fuzzy clouds, are the actual atmospheric clouds, and then these puffier ones down there are the actual explosion. Mount Ebu, hazard map for Mount Ebu. We got an exclusion zone. It is rocking and rolling. Based on visual and instrumentation monitor, alert level lowered from 4 to 3 today. There's been a decrease in recorded events. Okay, so things are calming down at Mount Ebu. However, in Lewitobi, we still have all this explosive activity happening on Flores. Ash emissions reached up to 7,900 feet. People are still at alert level 3. In Samiru, maybe, but Jukono also continues its explosive activity. And then the home reef, Tonga Islands, continues its explosive activity, which is no surprise because we have seen continual seismic activity from Tonga as well. Wow, that is really clear. You can see the direction of the prevailing winds blowing the smokestack from the volcano, just like due northward. That is really cool. And then this is the thermal anomaly there. Thermal radiation suggests oozing lava flow. Love that. Strong steam-laden plumes have been emitting in the north direction. Fuego continues to erupt, as does Nevado del Ruiz and Reventador. Sabancayo, unable to detect, but probably still erupting too. So that is a fun volcano roundup. Okay, I will watch the whole thing. I promise. Okay, next, let's take a look at our earthquakes. Earthquake 3D. So, fun one. We don't really see a whole lot of earthquakes in Africa, but today in Kenya, we had a 4.4 at 8 kilometers depth. And that is right next to where the sun line and moon line are crossing. Now, these are, respectively, the moon line is the projection of the moon's orbit onto the Earth. So this is literally very close to where the moon was, like directly over Kenya. It's kind of like sucking out the earthquake, in my opinion. And then the sun lines here are showing both the north and south axis of the sun here and the ecliptic plane right here. And this is the summer solstice. So this is the maximum tilt of the ecliptic plane. Well, it's not the ecliptic plane that's tilting, it's Earth with the respect to, anyway. Oh, need a sip. Cheers, everyone. Stay hydrated. Okay, let's go. In Greece, we had more and more threes keep popping up to a 3.7. This cluster is really just persistently active here from Crete all the way into Greece, and all the way even up into the border of Albania. I think that is, yeah, some of those are crossing the border into Albania. Then we also had a 5.5 on the Mid-Atlantic Ridge today at 10-kilometer depth. Mid-Atlantic Ridge 5.5. It's rare that we actually see them. It's rare that we actually see them get it up to a 5.5 instead of just downgrading us. I will message you back. I just don't take it personally, but I don't look at my phone very often, ever. It stresses me out. I get anxiety looking at my notifications. And yes, it does cause me problems in my day-to-day life. I don't know. I don't know if there's like a mental illness where you hate looking at your phone, but if so, I have it. And so please don't take it personally. I just My closest friends and loved ones are always begging me to answer my fucking phone more. And no, I refuse to do it. Not that I choose to, I just mentally cannot handle the pressure of it. Feels like when I look at my phone notification, it feels like I'm standing in a room of people who want my attention, and I have to pick who to pay attention to. So I just don't pay attention to anyone. And I just don't look at it. Yes, it does cause me problems in my work life. I have gotten fired for not answering my phone enough. It is definitely costing money, but will I answer my phone more? Probably not. Probably not. Me, I just live in the moment too much. Okay, here we got a 4.4 in Ecuador at 94 kilometers depth. That all rhymed. We also have, again, strong seismic signatures in Puerto Rico, not slowing down anytime soon, going all the way down to 88 kilometers depth. Here in the Sierra Madre, the Guerrero Coast, the southern Pacific coast of Mexico, we have still persistent. Oh, we had fives. Do we have a 5 today? We had a 5.1 at 123 kilometers depth. Damn, that's a big one. That's this big one right here. And then on either side of it, we had 4.0, 4.5, and 4.8. And then a lot of upper range threes as we climb up the coast into, what do we call it? America, allegedly, whatever it's called. We had another 2.2 in Tennessee. That's a second one in 2 days in a row, and this one is closer to Knoxville than it was yesterday. This one is right outside of Oak Ridge, Tennessee. This was actually on the Centennial Golf Course. I don't play golf. I've never been there, but if anybody knows where the Centennial Golf Course is, near Oak Ridge, Tennessee. Oak Ridge, Tennessee, fun fact, one of the sites of the Manhattan Project. It's really wild when you think about it. The Tennessee Valley Authority, the project from the New Deal that created a bunch of jobs by damming up, that was for hydropower. And eventually went to Oak Ridge, Tennessee to help fuel one of the sites of the Manhattan Project. And so really, these entire mountains had their energy extracted for the nuclear bomb. So that is a really interesting way to think about. That's how I see it. I see it as an extraction of the energy resources in the area going towards that bomb that let off a lot of energy. Very interesting. Very interesting that we had a earthquake at Oak Ridge today. Then we also have these Oklahoma quakes are getting more and more persistent and closer to the surface. I mean, if you could feel a 1.2, you'd feel it today because out here closer to Tulsa getting in on the action, where usually we see them concentrated around Oklahoma City and Norman, Oklahoma. That is where the Storm Prediction Center is. That is where this is like the heart of meteorologist country. I have been out there for a visit when I was in school for meteorology. It was a really cool visit. We got to storm chase and also visit all these weather sites out in Norman. Nobody knows where Norman, Oklahoma is except for weather nerds. But that is exactly where all of these earthquakes are happening, coincidentally. We've got 3.1 out here in West Texas, surrounded by a few upper 1 magnitudes. We also have a lot more, 0.6 out near Yellowstone, a lot more quakes popping up in southern Utah as well. This whole area we're going to get to in the wildfire/flooding update. The fire and rain update. Oh, this 3.1, I'm sorry, wasn't in West Texas. It actually was in New Mexico proper, which you don't usually see. Usually the USGS blames New Mexico for the West Texas earthquakes, but New Mexico actually had their own earthquake today. Let's take these ring sizes down. I can't see what the fuck is going on in the West Coast with all these. Also take the magnitudes up to like everything over a 1. Maybe. Okay, so as we take the magnitudes up, it's not as busy. We had a lot of tremor level things. 2.3 down here in southern Utah. Oh, and we just now, our most recent earthquake was a 4.4 out here in NorCal. That is in Laytonville, California, which is, there's a Fort Bragg in California too. There's also a Fort Bragg in North Carolina. Yeah, near the South Fork River, Elkhorn Ridge Wilderness. Yeah, let me put that on screen real quick. Oh wait, I gotta put this tab in the right. Okay, this is where this earthquake happened today. 4.4, like literally just now. I think it's the most recent one on my feed. Happened technically after the date line passed of UTC time. We are in 622. So this one like just now happened. That's wild. You heard it here first, folks. Live. 4.4 at 9 kilometers depth here in NorCal. It's also like right, it's also right where the Wanda Fuca plate and the North American plate have a little jutting, like it goes directly this way. So that's really interesting. Did you feel that one? Let's go back to Earthquake 3D. What else we got going on here? Juicy, not too juicy out here, but we've got 2.9 and 3.4 as we get into Mexico. They really don't know how to break up their earthquakes down there, you know? Maybe they wouldn't have such high magnitudes in the Sierra Madres if they just did some geoengineering the way that California does to disperse all the energy into many different places at once. So 4.4 out here in NorCal, really interesting. Pretty shallow too. So if you were able to feel that, you might be able to feel that. Also near the geysers. If I put this back on, you can see the geysers is still really peaking out there in number of tremor level quakes. There's another stack here that is really big. Where's this other stack coming from? The other stack is coming from southern Nevada near Nellis Air Force Base. That is where we are also seeing a bunch of tremor level quakes. Gotta zoom all the way out to see all the things happening at the geysers and near that Air Force Base in Nevada. Interesting. Very interesting. Also a 3. Yeah. Okay. Let's go up to Alaska. I need to keep the quake sizes off for this because it's also a clusterfuck. See what our biggest quakes were. We have 3.5 up here in Denali National Park at 111 kilometers depth. We had a 3.4, a shallow surface 3.4 just south of that, and then a 3.4 in the armpit of Alaska, at 10 kilometers depth. You guessed it. Then as we take our quake sizes down, we're looking at in the 2 ranges, we're getting quite a few around there. And then into the tremor levels, we've got a lot of quakes going on there too. Let's take our rings back up so that we can see the 4 here. No, a 5.0 in the same exact region of the Aleutian Island chain that we've been seeing these. Their USGS is saying this is 202 kilometers west-southwest of Adak, Alaska. Let's see. It's right in this little, you see this little curve right here? There's something going on there. There is definitely some sort of tectonic or geologic interface at this. It's like the climax or the local minimum of this parabola that is the plate boundary right there. But yeah, a 5.0 at 10 kilometers depth. 5.0 at 10 kilometers depth. That is surrounded by a bunch of tremors. Then, also, usually I think that something Dutch has said before is that when we get stuff at this area of the Aleutian Islands, that we should look to Hawaii for the next point of interest. So maybe Hawaii will heat up soon. Who knows? Then out here on the Kamchatka Peninsula, all the way at 113 kilometers depth and 100 kilometers depth, we got a 4.4 and a 4.1. I think that is right near the volcano, if I'm not mistaken, near the Bismiani Kamchatka volcano, which we saw in our update is active. Then another 2 outside of Tokyo. We got a 4.5 and a 4.6 at mid ranges of 58 and 34 kilometers depth, respectively. Out here on Marianas Trench, we got a 4.6 at 10 kilometers depth. I'm not going to get tired of saying it. What the fuck is going on 10 kilometers below the Earth's surface? I want to know. Let me know. Let me in on the secret. We got a 4.4 here right next to Taiwan. That's kind of in the same area where Taiwan saw a lot of quaking earlier in the year. 38 kilometers depth on that one. We got a 5.1 in Philippines at, you guessed it, 10 kilometers depth. A 4.7 as we are moving down the line. A 4.1 and a 4.7 near that. Those not at 10 kilometers depth, shockingly. This 4.7 is all the way down at 120 kilometers depth. And this 4.1 is way down there at 141. 4.6. These are all really deep today. We're getting a lot of deep earthquakes after a day of relative silence. Look how far off the globe they're going. The further off the globe, the deeper they are. Because I have depth exaggeration turned on. Do I turn angle on? What does that show? Doesn't show shit. Okay. 4.4 at 187 kilometers depth right here in Indonesia. 4.6 at 196. Man, these are deep boys today. We got some deep hitters. As well as a surface quake here near Perth, Australia, a 3.1. Perth has been heating up recently. I wonder what's going on in Australia that they've got middle of the plate earthquakes. A 4.8 here, pretty relatively shallow for what's been going on in the area. 4.8 at 135 kilometers as we're getting down into the Fiji Islands. 5.1 at, you guessed it, 10 kilometers depth. And then out here, this is, who is this again? What earthquakes or what? What islands are these again? I forget. Is it the Solomon Islands? Tonga. Oh no, that is Tonga. Okay. We had a surface quake and a deep quake here in Tonga, and both of them 5.2 and 5.3. Oh wait, no, sorry. The 5.2 is at 10 kilometers depth, and the 5.3 was a surface quake. So really interesting there. Then that gets us back to where we started. So highlights, lot more 5.1s, lot more 5s popping off all over the earth. We got quite a few in the Western Pacific. We had 5 in a deep 5 in Mexico. Oh, and we also had this recent 4.4 in Northern California. I don't know why, but I feel like people are going to write headlines about that one, even though it's not really, I don't know. 5.5 on the Mid-Atlantic Ridge, though. That's exciting. And actually, they're all around the same latitude, right around the equator. Look at all these. Man. Pincushion Earth today. Really active. Let's take a look now. Let's go up to our atmosphere. You didn't feel it? Okay. Well, you know, maybe both of us are just too grounded and we don't feel earthquakes because we're just too we're part of the earth. We shake when it shakes, so we can't tell. Okay. The atmosphere. Ugh, okay. So what's going on today is life-threatening flooding in New Mexico, like actual terrible, multiple particularly dangerous situations. Flash flood emergency. That is beyond a watch or a wing. An emergency is actually happening on the ground. This one is observed. There have been live swift water rescues, and they're only like 2 or 4 inches of rain in one spot. But what's making these, and this is Las Vegas, New Mexico, not Nevada. I think what's making these so potent is that they're draining points. These are like the entire aquifer is getting a lot of rainfall on it, and the higher elevations are spurring this precipitation. They're like spitting off these clouds. It's like a ramp. Do you see this right here above Petrified National Forest? I bet you this is a local maximum in elevation, and the prevailing winds are like scooping. This is like taking a big scoop in the peanut butter and it makes the curl. Okay, what do I fucking mean by that? This is the mountains reach up and scrape the sky, and that stirs up what's going on. Okay, that's a really simplified way of saying it, but adiabatic happens going up the mountain, and then there's rainfall. Also, let's take a look at what radar sites are out here. Oh, there's not a radar site right there, so it can't be that. Let's take a look at what local radar looks like from Albuquerque, New Mexico. I mean, Albuquerque itself is in a mesoscale discussion for a flash flood. This is nasty looking entrainment right here. The more it rains, the more it rains. That's what entrainment is. Opposites attract, except for when it's like begets like, which happens in the atmosphere. Yeah, they had some really high reflectivity rates. This is the kind of stuff you would usually see over the plains, and they would know how to deal with it. But the environment here is not really set up to drain all this water. So you got to hope that people planted their rain gardens and have set up their water catchment basins. Maybe this could be their water for the year, fresh water for the year. It could be something good. What are all these streaks and lines? Are you seeing these radar anomalies as well? Yeah, that is interesting. Radar indicated flash flooding, considerable damage threat. There, like 4 inches of rain in a day is not good. Near Grants, New Mexico, and also Las Vegas, New Mexico. That's not even the only place getting a bunch of rain. Let's go back out to our mosaic radar. We have also got rain all the way through the upper plains. We've got some special weather statements in Montana, between Lewistown and Roundup. I hope that's not like the glyphosate people. Oh my gosh, there was a sidetrack, but Roundup reminded me of it. There was a homesteader channel on YouTube that recently found out that both the husband and wife have like extreme glyphosate toxicity, and they're like, we raise our own meat and eat our own vegetables. Where the fuck is the glyphosate coming from? Because we don't use Roundup. And they did testing, and apparently it came from the feed that they were feeding their chickens. Their laying chickens and their meat chickens were eating grain that had been treated with glyphosate, and it bioaccumulated, and now both of them have glyphosate toxicity. Fun fact, Roundup actually budgets annually for settlement payouts for people's cancer bills. The more you know. Okay. That's just a fun little fact that they don't even try to stop the damage. They just budget for settlements. Okay, let's look at Nebraska and South Dakota. We're looking at another little, trying to rotate here around Gillette, Wyoming, but not really anything to be concerned about. Just some typical summertime storms. But the big serious flooding threat is out near in south central Nebraska. This is where there's another spawn point. That's what I call the areas where storms start their convection. It's just west of Kearney, Nebraska. There's how many flash flood warnings do we have out right now? We have 16 flash flood warnings and 2 flash flood emergencies going on right now. Oh, and they just issued a new mesoscale discussion, severe thunderstorm watch for this area. And this is entrainment. This is also storms moving in the direction that they're shaped. So that is always a recipe for flooding. It's kind of like, this is a dark metaphor, but it's like, you know, that old thing about how you cut your wrists of like across the street, not down the lane. This kind of flooding is like what happens if you cut down the lane, because you have so much area doing the same thing. Like, it's like the whole arm got cut rather than just a slice across. Okay, that's a very dark metaphor, but you know what I'm talking about. This is one little strip of area getting exposed to a ton of thunderstorms just over and over again. There's a little radar anomaly showing up there too. Then from Sioux Falls, northern Iowa and southern Minnesota are also being in on this torrential rain. This is all from this little river atmospheric moisture of Gulf moisture that got started from Alberto. And unfortunately, Mexico is still dealing with some onshore thunderstorms, onshore winds creating thunderstorms as they like flow up the mountainside. This rain is going all the way from Tucson, Arizona to Oshkosh, Wisconsin. This is one big circle of not doom, but circle of precipitation, let's say. There's a lot of serious precipitation in this area. I shouldn't be laughing. It is actually a dangerous situation out here. The Midwest might be able to handle this a little bit better than New Mexico is, because again, we've got those 2 flash flood emergencies in New Mexico. And wouldn't you know it, there's also wildfires going on at the same time, but this is not putting out the wildfires. What's happening there? Let's actually take a look at the wildfires next. Let's see. I've got this pulled up. I know. There we go. Okay. So finally not in a red flag warning out here. looks like maybe this is where we saw the rain, and there is rain here. So I hope that maybe this the Indios incident? Yeah, the Indios incident. Maybe this can get a little bit of rainfall in the northern New Mexico area. But then there were still 2 more wildfires that popped up today. Now, convection isn't great if it's not raining right there, because it could cause lightning that could spark wildfires. But as we have instinctual knowledge of, wildfires probably aren't just the result of lightning. They might be the result of thermal anomalies caused by seismic activity. That is just my opinion. Just my opinion. But yeah, there's a lot. There's even a new wildfire out here in Alabama. That's not a shock, because this is currently where the heat dome is. And up in Washington and Oregon, they're under a fire weather watch as well. The wildfire in to the northwest of Los Angeles is now 68% contained. That's good. Hopefully it won't go into more of the Los Padres National Forest, but there are still a fuck ton of fires as you get out past Santa Clarita into the Antelope Valley. That's all on fire. There's a bunch of fires that just popped up here between Santa Monica and Long Beach, all throughout Los Angeles. I thought this was city. So how is it a wildfire? I don't know. But these all popped up today in Linwood, Bell Gardens, East LA, South LA, all the way down to Redondo Beach. I'm saying these places like I know where they are. I mean, I know where they are on a map. I've never been there. But yeah, even as you get out towards the San Bernardino Mountains, there are still more and more wildfires popping up, which is not ideal. You don't want a wildfire. Let's take a look at all these thermal anomalies, though. This is sidebar. This is why I think that seismic activity has a correlation with wildfires, because, and somebody should look into that, because why are there so many thermal anomalies in the New Madrid seismic zone? Why are there so many thermal anomalies in places where we see so many earthquakes? I want to know. Yeah, the world's on fire. How about yours? That's the way I like it, and I never get bored. This is a thermal anomaly. See, they've got it showing up here. The Grindavik, the volcanic eruption here in Iceland on the Reykjanes Peninsula, that is showing up as a thermal anomaly. So it would make sense if there was some heat coming from inside of the ground that sometimes gets out to the top of the ground, and then maybe things become on fire from that. Anyway, let's close that. What else happened? New Mexico wildfire reduces part of city to car graveyard. That is, oh God, I swear I load these and don't have ads, and then it just plays an ad every time I click back into the tab. Yeah, this is the scene out of Ruidoso, New Mexico. That is that place near Roswell that has been heavily evacuated and eviscerated by wildfires and floods. Wildfires and floods at the same time. Talk about smoke on the water. It's really no laughing matter. It's really tragic out there. Let's see. But on the bright side, here's a happy headline. Officials celebrate recovery of iconic American lake as water levels peak for the first time in years. Extremely encouraging. This is Big Bear Lake, and it has been just depleted for years and years and years of this 15-year-long drought, and it is finally filled back up. So it took that whole winter of a bunch of rain, but it's finally filling back up. And then wouldn't you know it, new study blames climate change for the current heat wave. Really? Wow. What a shocker. Surprising no one, the Earth getting hotter makes it be hotter sometimes. The current heat wave is caused by worsening climate change. Yeah, no shit. Yeah, but one of the statistics they cite is, unfortunately, 125 people have already been killed in Mexico due to this current heat wave. And that's not even the only place experiencing this. This is the illustration of the heat dome. What they mean by a heat dome. And yeah, I always was like, what's the dome? What's the low? There's no border. It's not like a bubble. It's the same pressure level in the atmosphere. It goes higher and higher and higher. It's a the area underneath a high pressure system heats up, and then it keeps heating itself up, and then the heavier cold air can't push it out of the way. It just gets circulated around. It's really an unfortunate situation because it kind of just self-propagates. And I forgot to say that I saw this headline the other day, but people are on the Hajj right now to Mecca, and this is probably like the worst possible fucking timing. And they, in the Muslim faith, they take the Hajj, which is their pilgrimage to Mecca, depending on the lunar calendar. And this year, the Hajj falls on during one of the hottest heat waves ever experienced. So people are dying. It's taken more than 1,000 lives. 1,000 people have died. This is actual pilgrimage. This is actually, you might die to do this. So like, you better be really die hard about your God. Like, really, really unfortunate. Yeah, that's what's going on, is heat waves and life-threatening flooding at the same time. Then in Majorca, we've got a tsunami. Now, what a tsunami is this is a tsunami that's not caused by seismic activity, but is caused by a low pressure system coinciding with high tide. When the atmospheric pressure is lower, the tide can rise on shore more. When there's high pressure, think of it as like a fist from the atmosphere coming down. It squishes the water back out to sea. When there's low pressure, it's sucking the water up into the shoreline. So this is actually a tsunami that's been caused by a moving low pressure system, and not even from like storm surge in the fact of wind, but like it's actually the low barometric pressure itself that makes the water expand. It wants to not expand, but like rapid changes in sea level caused by atmospheric events such as storms and squalls. And this happens at this is just happening at this time of the full moon, coincidentally. Okay, let's go to our, actually, I want to look at our, before we go off of the atmosphere, let's take a look at our Zoom Earth. Let's see what the satellite looks like globally. How we doing out there, weather fans? How we doing out there, cloud fans? 4 people, 3 people of you. I love to see your faces. I mean, I don't see your faces, but I'm happy I see you there. So thanks for tuning in. All right, we're looking at Zoom Earth right now. Got the Well, we can see the train of moisture from the tropics into the subtropics. This is one big, all caused by, this is the remnant low of, it's not even a remnant low anymore, Alberto, that has come up through the Four Corners region and is reaching up into the upper plains. And then we have our two invest areas, invest 92L and invest 93L. This 93L is happening just the same way that Alberto did, being a tropical gyre spinning around the Yucatan Peninsula. And then Invest 92L is more of our classic hurricane type development scheme, but it's not really reaching hurricane or even tropical storm strength right now. It is almost ashore in coastal Georgia, and it's bringing some rain banding, but nothing too extreme. So while it will make landfall, it probably won't be a named storm, which is good. And as we get out to where all these deep earthquakes are happening, typical, man, look how beautiful this is. Look how I mean, Mother Nature's artistry is just unsurpassed, I think. Look at how gorgeous these spirals are. And this is exactly the shape that I'm talking about. It looks like a crashing ocean wave, that when we're looking down here at the Fiji Tonga region, that I think that the plate boundary is shaped this way. And so it's a really interesting shape when you think about what that means for angular velocity. Anyway, we have wildfires up in Siberia. We got some rain sweeping through South Korea and Japan. I think this was the thing that I thought looked like it would be a typhoon, but it didn't form into one. Maybe a little bit of precipitation headed through Tomsk, but actually, let me see where Tomsk is on here. I still don't have it bookmarked. Yeah, right in the middle. So clear day, kind of a clear day. There is a little bit of rain around it, but mostly clear skies. Oh, let's look at temperature though, because this is really where we're going to see our heat waves. Yeah, God. Saudi Arabia is where Mecca is, and we are solidly in the 90s. Thankfully, not as hot as Delhi got during India's heat wave, and India finally cooling off a little. I can't believe I'm saying it's cooling off when it's 97 degrees, but it's finally not 120 degrees. Himalayas up here hogging all the cold air. Actually pretty mild in Europe right now. It's shocking, but they are in a drought in Sicily. It may not be too hot, but they are definitely in a drought. Let's see. And then winter is setting in, fall is setting in the southern hemisphere. So we've got those cooler temperatures working their way towards the equator as they are peaking in. This is like the peak of their winter. The peak of our summer is the peak of their winter. Okay, so that is Zoom Earth for today. Alrighty. Let's take a look at our Schumann resonances today. What did our Schumann resonances have to say? Oh, we got a big power burst. I bet that was that one little localized rainstorm in Tomsk. This is a weird formation too. So a few isolated things. Oh, we also, look at this. We also had that mode 5 signature. That little voice type signature. Frequencies have been pretty high recently. Peaking out at like 840. And yeah, that was a power download there around 1 UTC right at the dateline time. And they're climbing back up steadily. But yeah, frequencies have been really high. let's see what our power range went up to on that. It's not that bad. It was quite a defined peak, but we only went up to like 35 in mode 1. So that's not too bad. Let's take a look at our HeartMath Institute. See if their Schumann resonances data is live again. Oh, wow. Okay. So this is the one that's climbing sky high is the Saudi Arabia location. And that is like higher than we got in the beginning of June. I'm going to pull this back. This is the highest we've gotten since actually like a year. We are at a years long high in Schumann resonance power at the Saudi Arabia observation station. So we're looking at like well over 750. This is in hertz, gigahertz. This is at. Oh no, that's not Saudi Arabia. That is South Africa. Sorry, their colors are so close I couldn't tell. Yeah, South Africa, we're at 834. I think the units on that are spectrogram, dynamic changes, average of power. So yeah, this has got to be in watts, megawatts, probably gigawatts. That's a lot. That is the highest it's been in over a year in South Africa. So everybody else, pretty middle of the road there. Looks like there's a lot of power going into our southern hemisphere right now. Let's see what that looked like on their spectrogram calendar. And the images probably don't want to load for me. That's fine. That's fine. I'm not offended. I'm not going to take it personally. But yeah, look, South Africa has been way maxed out for a while. That is insane. That is insane. It's like it's blowing out the entire meter. Everybody else looks pretty calm though. So I'm assuming globally we had about around that 1 UTC time we had a big download, but that is it. Let's see what that meant for our random network variance though. Middling, very middling. Solar wind speed, not too high. Speaking of solar wind speed, let's take a look at our solar weather for today. We had 33 to 39. We had 7. Is that 7? Yeah. 7 coronal mass ejections today. Oh, these 2 recent ones looked really fast. It's not showing up very much. Looking like a lot of far side activity, probably. Let's see what that. God, my phone is popping up. See, this is why I don't answer my fucking phone. People talk too much. I mean, I feel left out if there's a group chat and I'm not in it. And then when I'm in the group chat, I'm like, will y'all shut up? You're stressing me out. Okay. Let's see. Beautiful sun. Great work. Show us all your holes. We got 3713 and 3712 right here, going strong on their sayonara journey. And then we've got 4 new sunspot regions rotating into view. 3719 through 22. All of those look pretty babyish right now. Oh, 3712 has now been demoted back to a beta gamma type, and 3713 is our only beta gamma delta type. So, looking like we are in that middle period, that little rest phase, the ebb phase. We're waiting for our next big download. Let's see what our solar flares did. Oh, we had, yeah, nothing. Nothing since yesterday. Very middle of the road. I mean, not nothing. We are still solidly in C-class territory, but we're not anywhere near anything exciting. Let's see our auroral activity. Yeah, hemispheric power is down. Solar wind is down. Not too much exciting. So let's go to where there is something exciting, which is our planetary weather today. It is the official full moon today. We just moments ago, had the moon ingress into Capricorn and make the exact full moon transit, opposing our sun at 1 degrees. That full moon is square to Neptune, and Neptune is square to the sun, making a T-square, which is a pretty challenging aspect. But like I said, it's like the Stairmaster. It's not bad if you know it's coming. And this is also happening square to the black moon Lilith, which means that the moon is in its most average distance from the Earth. It's not the closest and it's not the furthest away. It's just the medium far. But with respect to the nodes, it is slightly closer to the south node, as we saw on Earthquake 3D, the projection of the moon's rotation onto the Earth. Then that is also making an interesting isosceles triangle here, where the moon is trine Mars in Taurus. And interesting, it's not really a mutual reception, but like the moon is exalted in Taurus and Mars is exalted in Capricorn. So again, we're having a Reese's peanut butter situation of like, you got chocolate in my peanut butter, you got peanut butter in my chocolate, where the moon and Mars would rather be in the signs that the other one is in, but they're here for now. So we got a Capricorn moon and a Taurus Mars just looking at each other like, I wish I had what you had. Then that Taurus Mars is making a sextile to Mercury in Capricorn. Mercury in Cancer. Well, Mercury in Cancer and Venus in Cancer. Man, there's a lot going on in the stars today. This Cancer season is starting off right, you know? We've also got Jupiter at 6 degrees of Gemini, not making too many aspects, and Uranus and Taurus sitting pretty at 25 degrees, getting enclosed on. Mars is closing in on Uranus. So, yeah, that is what's going on in our planets today. Probably a very tense full moon, if I'm being honest. It feels nebulous. It feels like there's tension with the unknown today. Like, you know the unknown is always there, but you just don't feel comfortable with it, or you're like scared that it's going to do something. That's the vibe today. Okay. Let's go back to hide this on stream. Homemade chocolate chip pancakes for dinner. Ugh, I'm jealous. That's amazing. That sounds so delicious. I love that. I'm having potato chips. Wait, I can't sponsor Lay's because they're a Zionist company, and I don't like that. But I love plain potato chips. Non-spawn. I'm not sponsored by anyone. Nobody's going to sponsor 31-year-old amateur stand-up comedian that lives in their parents' basement. But let's go ahead and get a cosmic weather update, shall we? We're listening to the sweet sounds of my favorite piece of labradorite. Sorry, other labradorite piece. I love you too. And this is the nice little flash from it. It's just nice, beautiful, raw power. This is the unknown. This is the stone of the unknown. This is the stone of that Neptune and Pisces type deal that's going on. Okay, I only got half the deck out. That's weird. Go ahead and get a card for today. What is the vibe of today of the strawberry full moon? Oh, the card jumped out and it hit itself. 6 of Cups reversed. 6 of Cups reversed. Beneficial community, mutual love and affection relationships, but we are doing this inward. Maybe you are not able to receive the abundance that's coming to you. Maybe we are not allowing ourselves to be fully filled up. Maybe there's an opportunity to fill our cup that is not being used right now. This also could mean it's time to give ourselves the gift of abundance instead of pouring out for everyone else. It's a very sweet card, the 6 of Cups. It's also a change in emotions. There is so much abundance that there is the opportunity to do something new that we've never done before. But this is a very inward orientation. I'm not taking this as negative. I'm taking this as we need to give ourselves what we usually pour out for other people, but also maybe it's time for us to receive a little bit too. Maybe we need to allow people to give us some blessings and be okay with that. Okay. Liminal space. Got our nice ocean jasper with this one. Always so pretty. Let's see what liminal space has to say. To go with 6 of Cups today. Also getting something from 6 of Cups about children and learning from children, like the wisdom of maybe the inner child. Maybe we need to listen to our inner child a little bit more. Maybe they have a gift to give us. Maybe that's where true abundance and stability comes from, is a good relationship with our inner child. Maybe let it play a little. Have fun. Okay, liminal space. Oh, it's not that deep. No diving. Infinity feet. It's not that deep. So maybe I should stop searching. Maybe I really do just need to let abundance in. That's it. It's not that deep. Let's see what this says. It's not that deep. If you cannot explain something simply, then you do not understand it well enough. And more understanding is not available at this time. Respect the boundary you found yourself up against. It's not that deep if you are floating or swimming, but fatally deep if you are drowning. There is no lifeguard on duty, so now is not the time for emotional choices or hypotheticals. It's not that deep. It's a little gaslighty. It's not that deep. Okay. Let me ask one more thing. I love the sound of selenite. Sounds so pretty. It's pretty. Let's look at our Let's look at the third cards. Who else wants to come out for It's Not That Deep in 6 of Cups reversed? Nobody? Oh, okay. There we go. I am life everlasting. I am an eternal being. It's got a little ghost soul image of a person out in a field of flowers under the puffy clouds. It says, "You cannot die. You are everlasting life. In grace, you may choose to relax and allow your gentle transition back into your non-physical state of pure positive energy. Your natural state is foreverness." It's not that deep. You're going to die one day, and it's going to be beautiful, and it's fine. Maybe we allow this to happen. All right. That is certainly some food for thought for tonight. Hope everyone in New Mexico feels like it's not that deep, because, God, they're certainly warned about that. That's it. It really is that simple. We're eternal beings, and we are having a physical experience right now. All right. I am going to, I don't know how to, oh, there we go. I accidentally full screened my page. I didn't know how to get out. I think I'm going to close it out there. Thank you for being here tonight. I'm going to watch that video you sent me. I know, I'm sorry. But it is time. I will watch that video you sent me and message you back. It's that time, though. It's the end of another episode of Today's Weather Tonight. Today, as always, I've been Cloud Hudson. You've been you. I love you very much. Thank you. Have a great rest of your night. Bye.